Breaking, just hours ago from Buckingham Palace, Prince Philip has died at the age of 99. We'll have the latest from London. Plus, a small plane crash just 20 miles from campus leaves one man dead and another seriously injured. And as 6 women's basketball players enter the transfer portal this week, we asked SBU's athletic director, Tim Kinney, what this means for the team's head coach and the future of the team.
My confidence in Jesse is that he understands it. And when we sit, he knows the boxes he's got to check this year.
Breaking just this morning, Prince Philip has died. Buckingham Palace released a statement saying, in part, it is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen has announced the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. He was the longest-serving consort of any British monarch, spending 65 years supporting the Queen. Prince Philip was 99. Good morning, I'm Grace Foley.
And I'm Jaron Holmes. A developing story coming out of Great Valley this week. One person dead, another seriously injured after a plane crash Wednesday at Great Valley Airport. As you see on your screens, we were at the scene shortly after the crash. Thursday, the victim was identified as 80-year-old William H. Mandelaire. Another victim was taken to a Buffalo area hospital with serious injuries. The investigation is ongoing. We want you to follow our social media platforms for updates. To the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic, we now take you live at the Richter Center with Rich Williams as he brings you the latest vaccine information here on campus and within Cattaraugus County community. Rich, good morning.
Good morning, Jaron. Thanks. I'm live in the Richter Center on the all-purpose court, which is currently set up for pool testing, but was meant to be transitioned to a vaccine clinic for Tuesday. But announced just yesterday, St. Bonaventure canceled the vaccine clinic due to the corruption of 15 million vaccine doses at a facility in Baltimore. The university did state, however, that Cattaraugus County Health Department will be holding on to the list of registered students just in case they get enough vaccines in as to where they can reschedule the clinic. But if students aren't able to get the vaccine here at St. Bonaventure, they do have other options. New York State changed eligibility this past week so that anyone above the age of 16 who lives, works, or studies in the state can actually get the vaccine. So the students can go to 4 locations in Cattaraugus County. Those are in Delavan, Little Valley, and Salamanca, and at the JCC in Olean to get their vaccine. I spoke with Dr. Kevin Watkins, who is the director of the Cattaraugus County Health Department, to find out how the vaccine rollout has gone as eligibility has expanded.
The governor has actually increase the prioritization grouping for those who can get vaccinated. And so he has opened this prioritization group wide open.
And Dr. Watkins did emphasize that they have had little to no struggles getting the vaccine out as eligibility has expanded. With Sbu Tv, I'm Rich Williams. Jaron, back to you guys.
Thanks, Rich. 2 weeks ago, New York launched its new vaccine passport program. And last Friday, the governor expanded the program for smaller venues. So what is it and how does it work? Sbu TV's Kurt Martone has the answers.
The Excelsior Pass is a new app you can download right on your smartphone. There are 2 versions of the app, one for event staff and one for guests. It stores a record of your vaccination or a negative COVID test and turns them into a QR code. If you come to an event that requires proof of those, scanning the code is meant to be easier than carrying around proof on paper. The pass will have to be renewed every 3 months for vaccinated people.
The app will be available for download on both platforms, on Google and Apple platforms, for people to download to their smartphones.
I spoke with venues across the state to figure out what this means for them. 3 theaters in upstate New York say that they are not ready to reopen. They'll look at what they need to do later in the year. The Buffalo Sabres do have 3 games on sale for April, and they are allowing guests to use the Excelsior Pass. Yankee Stadium has also enacted similar policies. Right now, the app exists on an opt-in basis and only works at events that have the partner app to scan the code.
I'm Martone, and I'm standing just outside the Richter Center where next month graduation will be held. Now, this new Excelsior app is designed exactly for that, for large events. Now, this app is not without its controversy. According to WENY, Pennsylvania lawmakers have implemented a resolution to stop it from being implemented in their state, and the app just doesn't work for some.
It's impossible. I've been vaccinated now for over a month, and I don't have a pass.
Now, others have had similar problems, and some older smartphones cannot download the app, but passes can be printed out from NewYork.gov. And while major questions still loom about what the future holds for the app, Governor Cuomo says that the Excelsior Pass heralds the next step in his thoughtful and science-based reopening. With Sbu Tv, I'm Kurt Martone.
Time now for weekly COVID numbers. Here in Cattaraugus County, active cases to over 150. Total cases since the beginning of the pandemic just under 5,000, and COVID-related deaths at 92. And here on campus, checked just moments ago, active cases at 5, 80 people have recovered, bringing the total number of cases since the beginning of the pandemic to 85. 6 players from the Bonnie's women's basketball team announced they're entering their name into the transfer portal. We now take you live in studio with Tommy Valentine, who brings you all the latest information. Tommy, good morning.
Thanks, Grace. The transfer portal, whether you love it or you hate it, the reality is it's unavoidable in college basketball today. And St. Bonaventure has fallen victim as well to the mass exodus of players across the country, leaving to find new homes this offseason. Last weekend, the athletics department confirmed with Sbu Tv Sports the departure of 6 members of the women's basketball team, all with intentions to enter the transfer portal. The large number of exits led to questions this week about the job status of head coach Jesse Fleming, who's posted a meager 38-102 record in his 5 years at the helm of the program. But Bonaventure Director of Athletics Tim Kenny voicing his support for Fleming this week, while also intimating that some improvements are expected for next season.
Each case is unique, so it's not I'm just leaving. This year has been tough from a mental standpoint. That's hard, and so I think that there's a combination of things going on. But from our standpoint, some we knew were going to go. My confidence in Jesse is that he understands it, and when we sit, he knows the boxes he's got to check this year, because we've got to make sure we bring this thing back to the level we want it to be.
And plenty more to come on this developing story. Later on in sports, we'll take a closer look at the void left by those 6 transfers, and we'll hear from Coach Fleming as he offers some insight on the reason for the departures and details how the team looks to rebound in 2021. Back to you, Grace.
Exciting news this week for the fans of the Bonnies. Following the conclusion of the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the first preseason top 25 poll released. ESPN has the Bonnies ranked 15th in their first poll, and 7 other outlets also have them ranked in the top 25.
A new update this week on St. Bonaventure's search for a new president. The Board of Trustees put out a request to faculty for nominees. Those nominees are for the search committee that will begin looking for a successor in the summer. The SBU Step Team and other participating clubs will be hosting the Rep Ya Flag event on Saturday. The event is made to bring all students and staff from different backgrounds and cultures together. Aramark will be assisting with the meal creations, as there will be over 13 different meals present. The event will be following all social distancing precautions and will require an RSVP.
I feel as though minority groups on this campus are really overlooked at times. It's like the campus does offer like a few different events and activities that are geared toward minority groups, but it's not as well pushed or as well supported as like all the other events that they throw here.
If you choose to go to the event and have already RSVP'd, please make sure to mask up and socially distant when possible.
There could be new life for Olean's tallest building. Buffalo developer Sam Savarino purchased the building last summer and is planning to use the facility with retail offices and apartments.
That space has been leased to a retail tenant called the Gallery at Olean. I would expect that space to be the space that is enjoyed the most by the community and in a pretty dynamic, interactive space. Ultimately, we just hope that it does become a little bit of a catalytic influence in downtown Olean.
The project has a price tag of $12 million. More on the renovation plan and its impact next week on Sbu TV.
Coming up just after the break, April showers bring May flowers. Jaron Holmes dives into the best time for planting your flower beds here in Western New York. And as the Chauvin trial continues, Janice Washington speaks with a local lawyer on how the outcome of the trial may impact our local community.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. We're not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
If doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, you can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Be New York tough. Mask up, America.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for them? Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
I don't think we're free in this country. For 100 years, you saw Black people menaced and targeted and lynched and beaten and brutalized. I think we're burdened by this history. More people have to be willing to do that uncomfortable, inconvenient thing that justice requires for things to get better.
Truth can inspire change. Learn more at EJI.org.
3, 2. Spring is upon us here in Cattaraugus County. It's time to start planting your garden. But with the weather being unpredictable lately, new questions about when is the best time to start planting came about. I talked with a local greenhouse owner to get you those answers. As the spring season begins here in Western New York, the thought of beautiful spring flowers are coming to gardeners' minds. Overnight frost is something to avoid when trying to plant your flowers this year. After speaking with Pleasant Valley's greenhouse owner Dan Evans, he indicated that frost can kill your plants and flowers. It is very important to try and plant these flowers after the last frost. The perfect time to start planting this year will be around late May to early June. Planting flowers and growing food in a place where weather is unpredictable can be very hard. That's why you have to use every day, like today, with clear skies and sun, to go out there and plant that beautiful garden. Take a look at your screen, where you will see the Farmer's Almanac. As you can see, it is not showing clear skies and sunshine for all of April. According to Evans, you should use every weekend leading up to late May to start collecting your needs for your garden, just in case snow or rain pushes your plans back. He recommends people start planting perennial flowers, especially in this area, because they come back year after year without having to replant. Perennials such as tulips and his personal favorites, daffodil bulbs. Evans says the rainiest part of the year ends towards the end of June, so fruit and vegetable plants need to be planted before then. Those tips and facts should have you well on your way to having a beautiful garden this spring. I'm Jaron Holmes with Sbu Tv.
Last week began the trial of Derek Chauvin, the officer charged with killing George Floyd. Many eyewitnesses have been testifying with their different perspectives on what happened to Floyd. Some are saying that Floyd died due to the drugs in his body, while others are saying that Floyd died due to a lack of oxygen. Local lawyer and professor at St. Bonaventure University, Carol McNall, shared her beliefs on how the trial will impact the residents of Olean.
Very few minds changed, but that tends to be the case with any kind of politically charged thing. Those who go into it thinking he was guilty of excessive force and guilty of murder probably are going to come out of it the same way, and those who are willing to say, but he's a cop, are probably going to come out, in most cases, are probably going to come out of it the same way.
The trial is expected to last for three more weeks. Sbu TV will have more on the trial in the coming weeks.
Coming up after the break, a look into a Bonnie overcoming cerebral palsy to live out his dream of becoming a sports broadcaster.
Hi. Can I get the now bar, please?
No problem. $1.
Have a good one.
Got it.
Hi, can I get a now bar, please?
$1.
Thanks.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey.
Hey, let me get a now bar.
Sure. $1.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
How's it going? Can I get a now bar?
Hey, stop right there! Get down on the ground out here, flat right, get down! Show me your hands! Now!
Regardless of where you are on your path to retirement, you can still take charge of your financial future today. Visit aceyourretirement.org and answer a few questions from Avo, your friendly digital retirement coach, for free tips, resources, and advice customized for your situation to help you feel confident and prepared for retirement. Retirement looks different for everyone. Make sure you're prepared for your financial future at aceyourretirement.org.
I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Be New York tough. Mask up, America.
Baby, you see, I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
St. Bonaventure freshman Dustin Green defying the odds as a sports media major with cerebral palsy. Our Tommy Valentine met with Green to share his courageous story.
It is Saturday, March 13th. We have T-minus 27 hours to the biggest game of the American season.
Every Saturday morning, you can hear the voice of St. Bonaventure freshman Dustin Green resonating throughout the radio room at WSBU, the university's radio station. It's one of many involvements Green partakes in as a sports media major in the Jandoli School of Communication. He's taking the first steps to fulfilling a dream of being a sports play-by-play broadcaster, and he's not about to let anything stand in his way of achieving that dream, not even cerebral palsy.
The cerebral palsy, I received the information probably when he was about 2 months old, when he was supposed to start rolling over or crawling. We didn't see those, he didn't hit those milestones when he was supposed to hit them.
You receive the diagnosis, you find out it's cerebral palsy. At that moment, what's going through your head? What are some of those emotions like?
It's questions. Why did it happen? How did it happen? What did I do wrong? And then you just learn to cope with it. You learn to figure it out.
Green hasn't just coped with this disorder, he's conquered it. The success he's already had in the broadcasting field stems from the positive mindset he maintains that allows him to overcome the physical limitations of cerebral palsy.
Just because Tommy's got 2 legs that work, I got 2 legs too. They work in a much different way. Physical appearance, mental appearance don't make a human a human. What makes a human is the DNA that they have. Don't sin and don't be ashamed to be you.
And it's not just cerebral palsy Green's battling with. He's hearing impaired as well. But little did the Green family know that what originally appeared to be yet another obstacle Dustin had to overcome would instead serve as an avenue gravitating him towards sports broadcasting.
We spent a lot of time at Grandma's house. Grandma was a Yankees and a Buffalo Bills fan. So he spent a lot of time watching those sports with her. And at a young age, he had hearing aids. We didn't realize until he was probably 12 that it was worse than what we originally thought. He never watched cartoons and we couldn't figure out why. Well, it's because he's a lip reader. So with the sports, he could read the commentator's lips and he just ran with it.
And Green has faced his fair share of non-believers. In fact, those who have doubted his abilities in the past served as the fuel he needed to come to St. Bonaventure.
Mere weeks before I got my acceptance letter to St. Bonaventure, I was told, don't go there. That school's too big for you. You won't make it. And at that point, I wasn't even going to go there. And I came home that day and I said, really, I'm not going to make it there. And I came out to the living room and said, we need to figure this out. I'm going to Bonaventure. I'm out to prove you wrong. Like, that's what I'm out to do.
Those who have worked closely with Green know not to make that same mistake. His tenacious work ethic quickly gained him respect among his peers, and he inspires those closest to him to strive for greatness, just as he does.
The tenacity of Dustin, the willingness of him to do whatever it takes to achieve a certain goal. And at the same time, if I ask him to do something, it'll be the same thing. It'll be to get a certain goal done, and he'll jump at the opportunity to help.
Few people understand the obstacles Green has had to overcome to reach this point in his young career better than his mother. A woman who's made countless sacrifices to accommodate Green's disabilities. It's reassuring to see her son flourishing at a university that has made him feel like he belongs.
I don't have words. I mean, the kid doesn't cease to amaze me on a daily basis. I mean, for the hearing impairment that he has, and us being told that we'd be lucky if he said 3 words, the kid is the biggest social butterfly I've ever seen. So I kind of let him path his own road and go from there.
It's everybody coming together, race, gender, ability, melt it into one environment. And St. Bonaventure is really the only place in this area that I found that.
Green has his doubts about whether he's cut out for a career as a play-by-play broadcaster. Should he decide to go a different route, though, it's clear he has options to fall back on. But wherever his journey takes him at St. Bonaventure, one thing's for certain: he will continue to challenge himself in whatever he does.
I set about high, I hope, because every day I wake up, that bar goes up 1 inch high. There was a point in time where I said, do I even want to go to college? Do I have what it takes to get there? And yes, I do. And I'm really proud of how far I've come.
Reporting for Sbu TV, I'm Tommy Valentine. New, now, next.
Coming up, our Tommy Valentine is in with sports. He will have more on the major changes of the women's basketball roster. Stick around. Sbu TV will be right back.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Observe a domesticated human family in their natural habitat, known to their species as the backyard.
Hey, you think I should light it now? Yeah.
Oh dear, someone is about to burn a pile of debris that's too tall, which can start a wildfire. Wait, could it be? Blimey, it is.
It's Smokey.
It's Smokey Bear. What a legend.
Hey, it's Smokey. Sorry, it was too high. Right.
Watch as he astutely ensures that there's no wind, and how he removes some of the debris to create a smaller, safer burning pile.
No, you said make it bigger, baby. The bigger the better.
Take note of our fearless furry friend here, humans.
I appreciate it. Fist bump.
Keep watching you.
Smokey's done it again.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Thanks for sticking with us this morning. We take you to Tommy Valentine, who's live with sports.
Well, fresh off a 6-15 season for the St. Bonaventure women's basketball team, losing their third and fourth leading scorers to the transfer portal wasn't the start to the offseason the team was hoping for. Deja Francis and Olivia Brown were two of 6 Bonnies who entered their names into the transfer portal. Our Grace Foley met with head coach Jesse Fleming this week as he offers the reasoning behind the departures and details how the team intends to reload for next season.
Week last year. Journey president from 3 and she hits.
6 players from last season's Bonnie's women's basketball team announced they were entering the NCAA transfer portal. Of the players transferring, notable names include sophomore guard Olivia Brown and junior guard Deja Francis, who played important roles in recent years. Fifth-year head coach Jesse Fleming believes despite these losses, he still brings back significant pieces from last season.
We have really good players in this program. I think if we have our top 3 scorers, we're trying to look at this transfer thing as you lose some great people sometimes, but it also gives you an opportunity to sign some great players.
Yet with this core and players like Brown and Francis, this team has still achieved subpar results under Fleming, resulting to a 38-102 record in 5 seasons. Fleming takes responsibility for the team's lack of success.
It took me too long to kind of identify and communicate to the players exactly what I needed out of them. I am incredibly, frustrated. There's been some times here within the last year and a half where I think we're about to turn the corner and we haven't.
Tim Kenny says the expectations for next year are understood by Fleming.
I think you had a young first-time head coach that made some tactical mistakes. He knows the boxes he's got to check. We've got to make sure we bring this thing back to the level we want it to be.
The future of the Bonnie's women's basketball program now lies in the hands of Jesse Fleming. For Sbu TV Sports, I'm Grace Foley. New, now, next.
Finishing out with a little Bonnie's women's soccer action, Coach Bordarski's squad wrapping up the regular season with a pair of home matches against Duquesne, the first coming Thursday afternoon. It was a defensive battle throughout. The Bonnies were anchored by Mackenzie Nolan's 4 stops in the goal, 0-0 at the end of regulation. But in the overtime period, Duke's forward Lauren Bell slips a shot past Nolan to give Duquesne the 1-0 victory. The Bonnies will look for revenge Sunday afternoon, kickoff in Game 2 set for noon. And despite their loss on Tuesday, it's been a season of firsts for the St. Bonaventure men's lacrosse team. Their first ever conference victory last Friday against Manhattan inspired this week's Sbu TV Sports Trivia question. Taking it back to 2019, the Bonnies' inaugural season, they've come a long way since that 0-13 campaign. The program's first ever goal was scored in Game 2 that season against St. Joseph's. Our question this week, who scored that first ever goal? Just so happened to be the program's all-time leading scorer, Sean Wesley, the first of now 21 career goals for Wesley. Answering first with the correct answer, someone who knows Wesley quite well. Congratulations to Brett Dobson, the team's starting goalkeeper, with his first Sbu TV Sports Trivia victory. Clearly, Dobson as good with trivia as he is in the cage. Sbu TV Sports Trivia will return on Tuesday and enjoy a packed few days of Bonnie's athletics, baseball, lacrosse, soccer, the whole slate headed your way this weekend. Grace, Jaron, I know you guys will be watching. Back over to you.
Say goodbye. Make sure to follow us on our social media platforms to stay up to date on COVID numbers in your community.
What a show. We want to thank you for joining us here today. I'm Jaron Holmes.
And I'm Grace Foley.